Attorney General Merrick Garland will testify on allegation of Biden family corruption, as his DOJ is accused of being weaponized for political use.
So, what do lawmakers want to hear? House Judiciary Committee member and Vice Chair of the House Republican Conference, Congressman Mike Johnson, joins us now. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Good morning. Great to be with y'all.
Great to have you on, especially right before y'all go into those doors and sit down and ask Merrick Garland all these questions. What exactly are you going to ask him?
We have a lot of questions to ask him. I'm going to focus on the DOJ's involvement in Special Counsel Weiss's investigation of the president's son. Here's the problem right now, Ainsley. 65% of Americans have a negative view of this Department of Justice, and the reason is because they see every day a politicized Justice Department. They see a two-tiered system of justice. They see the aggressive prosecution of President Biden's primary political opponent, Donald Trump, while at the same time they see slow walking and special treatment for the president's son. Over the last 2 years, under Merrick Garland's leadership, remember, you had concerned parents at school board meetings labeled as domestic terrorists. You had conservative Catholics investigated, spied on in their own churches. You had a collusion with big tech. DOJ and the FBI censored and silenced conservatives online. The people don't trust Merrick Garland, and he has a lot to answer for.
Yeah, absolutely. And Congressman, one of the things, one of the contributing factors is we've seen on TV a couple of these IRS whistleblowers, and they were very convincing in saying, you know, and we've heard from other sources that apparently the whistleblowers said that they heard from the guy who is now special counsel, the special lawyer. He said, yeah, I'm not the decider. It's somebody else. So it sounds, and we've heard from Merrick Garland essentially say, yeah, he's got his own autonomy. He can do whatever he wants. It sounds like, Congressman, there's somebody between David Weiss and somebody lower than the Attorney General who might have their finger on the scale.
Well, that may be true, Stephen. That's one of the things we're trying to dig into today. Merrick Garland is the boss, though. He is the Attorney General. He's in charge of all of this. And he does have, you know, the story's changed multiple times. Mr. Weiss changed his story 3 times in about 30 days. So we've got to get down to the bottom of that. It really matters because that's what the people want to know. Is Hunter Biden getting special treatment? And it looks like it does. One of the things that happened in that, of course, is that the tax charges were allowed to lapse. That almost never happens. Yep. You know, the statute of limitations set in, so it looks crooked, right. and we're taking it on face value.
You can't just focus on this. You focus on trying to get a continuing resolution to finally get a budget going. For some reason, you guys didn't get your appropriations bills done, so now they want a continuing resolution. A lot of conservatives got together, like Scott Perry, Chip Roy, and the Speaker, and they came up with what they thought was a CR, but it failed because of people like Matt Rosendale. Listen to why.
I've said for months now that I will not support any continuing resolution. That is merely an extension of Nancy Pelosi's spending and Joe Biden's policies that we voted against. Republicans voted against for the last 2 years. We were assured by Kevin McCarthy, this Congress is going to be different. Congress needs to do their job. They need to pass the 12 appropriation bills. They need to get the non-defense discretionary spending reduced to $1.471 trillion.
Ralph Norman, Andy Biggs, Dan Bishop, Ken Buck, and Matt Rosendale voted no. So you guys failed, and now moderates are getting together with Democrats, and they might do something and leave you guys out.
Well, you just named some of my best friends, Brian. I'm a conservative as well, but I'm also in House leadership, okay? I recognize the reality of the math, and Matt Rosendale, he's not wrong. He's correct. We do need to do our approps bills, but doing a CR will allow us the necessary time to do that so that we can have good, thoughtful, good stewardship for the taxpayers.
But he knows that, doesn't he? So what's the point of blowing up your continuing resolution? It's you and Chip Roy who we blew up. What's the point?
Yeah, well, we're having some intense fellowship behind the curtain, okay? But we have a slim margin, all right? This is the reality of governing with a small majority, but we're going to get there. We're not going to shut the government down. I'm convinced we're not. I think cooler heads will prevail, and we'll get, ultimately, the 12 appropriations bills that we need. We have great leverage for the ultimate negotiation time with the White House and the Senate, but we've got to have ourselves in the best place to do that.
Isn't it embarrassing, though? Aren't you embarrassed? Isn't your party embarrassed by the way they're acting?
Well, look, politics can be ugly sometimes, okay? But what you're seeing is regular order. That was the big reforms that we got. You don't see, let's pass the bill now and read it later. You see the messy part of the sausage making, okay? And that's part of it. But we're optimistic. I think we'll get the team together and do what we have to do. We're going to get the job done.
Congressman, you know, part of the team wants to get rid of the quarterback. They want to get rid of the speaker, and this is their way of doing it.
Well, it may be. Look, I think I'm optimistic that everybody's operating in good faith here. The negotiations went into late into the night last night. You have Freedom Caucus, you have Main Street guys, the moderates, everybody in a room trying to work this out. And I think everybody has the same objective. We want to cut this runaway spending that the Democrats have done. They've added $10 trillion to federal spending over just 2 years in power. That is not a trajectory that we can continue. We have a $33 trillion federal debt. That's what is motivating all of us to do our job. So you'll see the arm twisting, but we'll get it done.
All right, y'all have to get together and pull those 218 votes and then reconcile with the Senate. We'll keep watching. All right, we wish you all the best this morning, and one more, about an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you.
We'll be watching you.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Still ahead.